Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. November 27th, 2017.
Work till your shoes fall, my friends. Amazon now has been exposed for running modern-day sweatshops. I'm not talking in third-world countries, whatever, Mexico, Brazil, Thailand. I'm talking about here in the United States and in Great Britain. Stunning expose of how they work their workers like dogs, to the point that they're getting panic attacks, utter and sheer exhaustion. Many of them are falling asleep on their feet. They're being worked around the clock, there to serve robots. Even being told many times they can't even go to the bathroom. Only at certain designated break times can they even go to the toilet. The toilet conditions are apparently deplorable. And as one of the texters put it, Jeff, notice the libs want $15 an hour for flipping burgers. But Amazon, no. Well, think about it. Even if they were to impose $15 an hour on Amazon, okay, just for the sake of argument, well, Bezos is a big globalist. He's for open borders, free trade. So are the liberals, so are the Democrats, and the Rhino Republicans. All he has to do is relocate to Mexico. He can work his workers there to the bone like he works his workers here to the bone. And they just come across tax-free, and you pay them whatever, $4 an hour. That's why they're all for globalism and free trade, because it benefits these faceless giant corporations who now own both parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. No, to me, the bigger issue is Boston and Massachusetts has a love affair with Amazon because they love Bezos's politics. And as long as he's a liberal globalist, they don't care how he treats his workers. So I am telling you, you can take it to the bank. As I said before, the offer still stands. The best steak at the Hanover Street Chop House. You will never see Elizabeth Warren, Chief Spreading Bull, or Marcula, or Joe Kennedy III, or take your pick. All of these big Democrats denounce Amazon's sweatshop labor practices. Why? Because they own Elizabeth Warren. All Jeff Deal has to say is, do you support the breakup of Amazon? Will you break it and enforce antitrust legislation? Will you break up this modern day monopoly / trust? You say you're for the workers. So will you break it up? She won't even touch it. She'll run as fast as she possibly can. And they'll call Jeff Deal whatever, a hater, a sexist, a chauvinist. How dare he even challenge Elizabeth Warren? The way he phrased the question, the way he said it. I'm serious. Oh, he's a bully, and that's going to be the issue. Jeff Deal is a bully. Because she's bought and paid for by Amazon and by Jeff Bezos. He says jump, and she says how high. 617-266-6868. So let me throw one more log on the fire, and then I want to get back to the blazing phone lines. By the way, we still have one line available, 617-266-6868 if you want to jump on. So these liberals and Democrats will do nothing about Amazon. Nothing. But when it comes to you, in your car, with your cell phone, they will regulate you to the hilt. So, listen now to this. Charlie Faker is now pushing major legislation that has real chance of being passed up on Beacon Hill that would ban cell phone use while driving. Currently, just so that you know what the law is you cannot text and drive, and minors, those under 18, cannot use their cell phones while they're driving. But so far, if you're 18 and above, you can still talk on your cell phone while you're in your car driving. Baker now wants to ban that. So I want you to think about this. You're not running a sweatshop. You're not limiting people's toilet breaks. You're not giving them 60 seconds to go, forgive me, take a dump and wipe and get back. You're not having people to process packages in 9 seconds or less, where people are now getting severe anxiety disorder or passing out on their feet because they're being so overworked. You're in your car that you paid for and you own, on the roads that you pay for, on your cell phone that you pay for, minding your own business, and they're telling you what you can or can't do with your own cell phone in your own car. Because they know what's best for you. You see, the nanny state, forget your individual freedoms, forget personal responsibility, forget your individual rights, and I'm looking at this and I'm saying, who the hell are you to tell me what I can or can't do with my cell phone in my own car? With all due respect, it's called freedom. Now, I understand people are distracted when they're talking on the cell phone. They should only be use hands-free devices, whatever, Bluetooth. I use Bluetooth, yes. But let me tell you how the free market handles this. If you're a person who uses a cell phone in your car and you get into an accident, your insurance rates should go up. In other words, it can be shown that you were distracted while you were driving, then you should pay higher insurance. Just like you should be paying, say, I don't know, higher life insurance if, say, you're a heavy smoker. But it's not for the state to get involved. It's not Charlie Baker's business. Because think about it. If they can tell you what they can do with your own cell phone in your own car, what do you think is next? Music? Too loud? Whether you should even listen to music? Music is very distracting for many people. Eating in your own car? Sometimes, whatever. I like to stop off, get a Big Mac, a large Diet Coke, and I'm in the car and I'm munching on a Big Mac and I'm sipping on a Diet Coke and I'm on my Bluetooth and I'm talking to my wife or whoever, or I'm show prepping or whatever it is. So they're going to tell me now I can't eat and drive? I can't listen to music and drive? Look how they're slowly controlling and regimenting every aspect of our lives and taking away our basic freedoms. Our basic freedoms and liberties. You don't own the car. I'm not an Obama phone, so you don't own my cell phone. And I'm on the road that I and all of you pay for with my taxpayer money. Yet you have the gall to tell me what I can do in my own car? Not in my America. Not in a free society. But Jeff Bezos, I'm not saying he should be regulated. To me, I'm getting a lot of texters saying, Jeff, Amazon is like UPS. You know, UPS workers, by the way, I don't know how they do it. 200 packages a day. They're, flying everywhere trying to deliver packages. You don't like the job? You don't do the job. My point is this. They lionize Amazon and Jeff Bezos. They turn a blind eye to Amazon and Jeff Bezos, but they go after you and they go after me. And we're not exploiting anybody. We're just on the phone, usually. Let's be honest, right? I don't know about you, Brittany, but a lot of my job is on the phone because there's so much traffic. So I'm working. I'm actually working on my, yes, I call my wife. The kids want to speak to me. Yes, not every call is a business call, but I do a lot of my business on the phone. So I'm on my phone talking so I can prep or whatever, talk to a source or whatever it is, so I can work to pay more taxes. And you're trying to regulate me? Hey, buddy, blank off. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, it is the Kuhner Country poll question of the day, sponsored by Bill Kelly Financial Services. Should cell phone use while driving be banned in Massachusetts? About a dozen states already have this law on the book. So if you agree with Charlie Faker and frankly many Democrats up on Beacon Hill, text, in other words, yes, text the letter A to 680 680. If you agree with the Kuhner man, freedom is freedom is freedom. Hands off my car, hands off my cell phone. No, niet, get lost. Text the letter B to 680 680. As always, you can vote online at WRKO.com. Bill in Woburn. Go ahead, Bill.
Bill, I got a friend whose son is a cop, and he says there are more accidents by people using their cell phones by texting. And my suggestion is that they get a headset. They can't text on a headset, but that's what they should do.
Okay, and Bill, you said your son worked for Amazon as well?
Oh, yeah. And that was the biggest scam I've ever seen. What they do is they'll put you on a different shift, and they'll magically lose your hours that you worked on the first shift, so they don't have to pay you. And they say they're going to make it up, but they never make it up. So then when he was ready for a raise, they put him on another shift, changed his shift, and they lost his hours. So he never got caught up with his hours. They always said, we're working on it. And when he left, they magically lost all his records, everything. And we figure they owe him about $3,000 to $5,000
in back wages.
And back wages, that's correct.
Bill, I'm just curious.
They do that on purpose.
Bill, if you don't mind me asking, where did your son work for Amazon?
He worked for him in the food division. I believe that's Revere.
Okay, in Revere.
Yep, and they stuck him in the freezer at days at a time where they were only supposed to be in the freezer for an hour or 2 hours at a time. But he'd come home and he'd say his hands were blue because he was in the freezer all day long. And if he complained, they would fire him so he didn't complain.
Wow.
They are a brutal company to work for, and that's too bad.
Bill, geez, so Jeff Bezos, he's running a real model business there, huh?
Well, he probably doesn't know what his HR department and his lower managers are doing.
Oh, I guarantee he knows.
In the upper echelon, all they're doing is shifting money and buying, selling companies. But these guys, they're very unprofessional. They don't know what they're doing, and they got free reign to do what they want. Like I said, it was disgusting to hear some of the stories. Not just by him, but my son would tell me about other people that they do the same thing.
Oh, I know. Oh, Bill, it's all coming out now. And, Bill, thank you very much for that call. No, the only disagreement I have, and thank you, Bill, the only disagreement I have with you is I think Bezos knows perfectly well what's going on in his company. In fact, I'll even go further. I bet you the orders are coming from him. Squeeze blood out of a stone. Work them like dogs, and if they don't like it, somebody else will do the job. And just work them, and because I'll tell you why. He's a corporate marauder. He's a globalist. He's got plants and businesses, and all. He's got them in Mexico. He's got them in Brazil. He's got them in India. He's got them in Vietnam. He's got them in China. He's got them in America. He's got them in Canada. He's got them in Britain. He's got them everywhere. So he's like, hey, look, it's like pieces on a chessboard. Hey, they don't want to work for me in Revere. Blank off. I'll get somebody else. And if they don't want to work for me at all in Revere, I'll close down Revere and go somewhere else. I'll just relocate. And because I've got Congress bought and paid for, every free trade agreement on the planet I've got. So I'll send them to Honduras. They'll work for $1 an hour. Don't worry. They'll sit in that freaking freezer 10 hours a day if they have to for that $1 an hour. So that's the kind of guy Jeff Bezos is. Now, it's a freak. To me, I believe in economic freedom. If Jeff Bezos wants to stick people, I don't like the back pay. He should be sued for that. Okay, I don't like the skimming people's wages to line your pockets with. Your son should sue him for that. Okay, but if he wants to stick, say, somebody in a freezer for 8 hours, that's his right. You don't have to work there. But at a minimum, don't tell me that the very party, the Democrats, and especially Elizabeth Warren, Oh, we're for the 99% against the 1%. Oh, Jeff, we're union people. Jeff, we're for the working class. We're for workers' rights and safe, healthy, decent working conditions. But you turn a blind eye to the naked exploitation of labor and workers. This is exploitation. It's a sweatshop. Now, I'll tell you this. They're all, to me, for your son, these are serious health issues. Number one, you're in a freezer all day. I don't know how your son didn't get like pneumonia or a cold. Because I'm telling you, if I'm in a freezer, hell, I was just up in Canada for a couple days last week, and I got a cold. Never mind being in a freezer. Number two, arthritis, the damage to your joints, to your health. I'd say, hey, no job is worth my health. Adios, amigos. Look, I don't like Amazon. I don't like the way they run their business. I don't like the way they model. I don't like the way they treat their employees. To me, I don't buy anything off of Amazon. I haven't for a long time. And I don't like Bezos, and I don't like his leftist politics. I don't. So, to me, I've already been boycotting Amazon. But now the truth is out. And I want to know, where do the Democrats stand? And can you hear it? The silence is deafening. 617-266-6868. More with your calls next. Just don't do it on your cell phone while you're in your car. At least that's what Charlie Faker, Chicken Charlie, Governor Charlie Baker now wants. He is urging the Democrats up on Beacon Hill, the state legislature, to pass a bill that would ban all cell phone use while you're driving in your car. Currently, you're not allowed to text and drive, and minors are not allowed to speak on the phone, the cell phone, while they're driving. But if for adults, so far, you can have the phone on your ear, you can talk, you can call your wife, you can talk to anybody, your husband, your boss, whatever. If this bill passes, then you will no longer be allowed to use your cell phone while driving or operating a vehicle. And so the Kuhner Country poll question du jour, as the French would say, of the day, sponsored by Bill Kelly Financial Services, is essentially, do you agree with Charlie Baker? Do you think cell phone use while driving should be banned in Massachusetts? If you believe the answer is yes, text the letter A to 680-680. If, like me, you think this is another draconian regulation from big government interfering in our personal liberties and freedoms, no, text the letter B to 680-680. As always, you can vote online at WRKO.com. Brittany, what are the poll results thus far?
68% no, 32% yes.
Are you an A or a B, Brittany?
I don't think that using your cell phone while driving should be banned. However, I'm all for texting while driving being banned. And, you know, something else needs to happen other than getting a ticket for, you know, texting while driving. I think that's more dangerous than, you know, talking on your cell phone or using your Bluetooth to talk on your cell phone.
Well,
so
now
I think if it was a different bill, I would support it. But, you know, with the traffic nowadays, Jeff, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
and what else are you gonna do in your car if you're alone? You know, you're on the phone with people.
Doesn't this guy take the Pike or 93 or 95 where I can go, you know, in other words, it's bumper to bumper.
Right. People are in their car for an hour and a half to 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, just on the commute to work, and then on the way back, sometimes it's even worse. So, you know, it's dangerous. I'd rather have someone talk on their phone than be texting on their phone. And usually when I get a text message while I'm driving, I'll just call the person right away and just be like, look, I'm driving, like, can't talk to you. So
according to this bill, correct me if I'm wrong, Brittany, they basically only want you on Bluetooth, essentially.
Right. But nowadays, you know, your car has all of this technology now where sometimes even your text messages can come through in your car, some cars. Then obviously most recent cars have Bluetooth, and your phone has technology on your phone where you can, you can press a button and then you can talk into your phone, you can text somebody back. So if you use these technologies, I don't think that there's an issue, with driving and doing it. But I always just use my Bluetooth. It's safer. Don't text while driving. I was in an accident when someone was texting while driving, and they totaled my car. So I'm pretty biased here. I think that, texting while driving should be a bigger law.
Three quick points, and then I want to throw it to you. 617-266-6868. To me, number one, and to me the key issue, is I don't believe the government has any business telling you what you can do in your car with your cell phone on the roads that you pay for. You want to talk about an assault on individual freedom, on personal responsibility, on individual rights. This is it. Because if they say, well, that's distracting, eating donuts and coffee, that's distracting. Listening to loud music, that's distracting. I don't know, getting angry with your kids, like the way my kids do, when they're pushing and shoving each other in the back seat, that's distracting, believe me. So they could start banning a hell of a lot if they want to start with this. That's number one. Number two, and I think even more importantly, the police don't have enough to do. So now I'll tell you what this is all about. I think this is a money grab. This is a cash grab. They need more revenue. They need more revenue for welfare, for the illegals, for the roads, because they've been raiding the road fund. And so now they're just going to put even more pressure on police, because it's hard. Like texting and driving. Well, is the person texting or not? It's hard for a police officer to tell. But, the cell phone's on the ear. Bang. Pull them over. Ticket, whatever, $100, $150, whatever it is. You're driving while using a cell phone. So what you're going to do is now you're just going to make it even, have the police even have more on their plate. So they're not going to be going after real criminals, but they're going to be targeting you. It's another attack on middle class and working class taxpayers. And to me, the final point is this. I use Bluetooth because I have the technology in my car. Well, Bluetooth is not perfect. I can't tell you how many times I've used Bluetooth, and for whatever reason, the connection dies, halfway through the drive, let's say to work, and I'm like, it doesn't work anymore. Let's say I'm calling Brittany back. We're talking about what to do on the show. Boom, my Bluetooth connection died. So I'm calling, and I'm like, it's no longer on Bluetooth. So I got to use my phone. So what are we going to start doing? Pulling over on the side of hold on now, I don't want to get a ticket. So let me pull over on the side of the road, on the emergency lane, put my hazards, close my car, turn it off, start it back on. I've got my Bluetooth connection. Yay! And then get back on the highway. The law of unintended consequences. We are overworked, overtaxed, and we are sitting in traffic all day. The last thing we need is another law targeting us for using cell phones, because that's the only thing you can do when you're trying to do your job, because it takes you 2 freaking hours to get to your work because there's so much congestion. And you would know that, Charlie Faker, if you actually worked for a living. 617-266-6868. Trump will not help Judge Roy Moore's campaign. Evan Heidenrich has that. Take it away, Evan. Well, you're not going to be calling Jenny anytime soon if in your car with a handheld cell phone if Charlie Baker and the Democrats have their way. 617-266-6868. Okay, so Charlie Faker is now throwing his full support behind a proposal that would ban motorists from holding cell phones while they drive. So you could still have the cell phone in the car, you just can't hold it. So they want basically hands-free, for you to use hands-free technology. You can't put it to your ear. You can't speak on the speakerphone. You can't have it in your hand. Otherwise, it's going to be a big ticket, $100, $150. The bill has passed the state Senate. The state House is about to take it up. And Charlie Faker says, you pass it, I will sign it. So, should handheld cell phone use be banned here in Massachusetts while you're driving your car? 617-266-6868. As always, you can text us, 680-680. Lines are loaded. Some really good texts. 937, Jeff, what is the difference of a person talking to a passenger in the car while driving and talking on the phone on speaker? None. You're a genius. 937, I'm telling you, you're an absolute genius. This is from 617. Jeff, let me get this straight. They don't care about Amazon exploiting their workers, but us peons in the car using our cell phones as we're driving to work and from work, liberalism is a mental disorder. Bingo. You got it, my friend. This is from, let me see here. This is a beauty. 978. Jeff, why ban anything? Just make the law say that if you cause an accident and you were doing anything besides driving, it's your fault. 978. I love you. In a non-sexual way, I love you. That's a free society. You want to text and drive? No problem. But you caused the accident, you're going to be held responsible. You want to drink coffee? No problem. But if you caused the accident, you're going to be held responsible. You want to yak on the cell phone? No problem. Your car. But you cause an accident, you're going to be held responsible. Dead on. I couldn't have said it better myself. Chris in Situate. Go ahead, Chris.
Good afternoon, Jeff.
Hey, Chris.
First of all, I'm in the car. I'm on the Bluetooth. I'm a sales guy. I do 40,000 miles a year. The car is essentially my office. That's where I work. I have to have my cell phone. I do use the Bluetooth religiously. And I will tell you, I'm very torn on this. I do not like rules. I don't like the government telling me what to do. I'm essentially a libertarian. But from all the driving I do, the biggest problem on the road today is the cell phone. I see people texting. I see people doing everything with phones, with computers. It's unbelievable, some of the things people do in the car. Now, if you use a Bluetooth properly, I can dial from my voice. I can dial from the screen, from my steering wheel. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to pick the phone up. And I will admit that even myself, I know where I'm going. I don't really need GPS. I have missed exits that I know as well as the back of my hand when I'm talking on the phone when it's held in my hand. When I'm on the Bluetooth, that does not seem to happen. So I'm very torn about this because like I say, when anybody asks me, the biggest traffic problem today is texting.
Chris, I'm just curious. So you say your car is your office, right? You're a salesman?
Yes, correct.
Okay, Chris, you tell me, because you may disagree with me. You know what I see as the biggest problem on the road? You're right, the cell phones, texting, but to me there's even a bigger problem. It's the drivers. I have never seen, I gotta say, Massachusetts in particular, Chris, I think we're the worst drivers. I think we're the worst in the country, and maybe we could give the Italians a run for their money for worst in the world. I've never seen drivers like this.
Montreal's pretty bad, too.
Oh, yeah, yes. Oh, I was just up there. Oh, Chris, believe me, they're nipping on our heels. They could give us a good run for our money. But, I mean, it's like the Indy 500 out there.
The driving in Massachusetts, and I will tell you, the towns that have entitlement towns, the Richmond's, the Hinghams, the Cohasset, the Norwells, the Duxburys, the soccer moms driving the very large Land Rovers and the Suburbans that they have no business driving, they're out there. They can't drive the car because it's too big for them. And they think that they own the road. Get out of my way. And believe me, as someone who drives for a living, and knock on wood, I haven't had an accident in 20 years. The only I get out of their way because they'll kill you.
No, Chris, no, you nailed it. Look, you mentioned the soccer moms with their Land Rovers and the SUVs. I've noticed that as well. Like, they think, first of all, you're right. I can barely see, like, their head over the dashboard because they're so small. But, I mean, they're flying. And it's not just that they're going, 80, 85, but, I mean, the way they tailgate. And they love that. What is it? You flick your lights, like flick them. Yeah. They just keep high beaming everybody. And they think because they have those SUVs or Land Rovers, like it's a tank. Like it gives them a sense of empowerment. And so basically it's get out of the way or I'm going to run you over. So you've got that. Then you've got those that drive on the emergency lane. This, to me, I've never seen. And not just drive on the emergency lane. They're flying on the emergency lane. And so Baker's obsessed with the cell phones, the handheld cell phones. What about the freaking middle fingers? Like, no, really, you want to talk about distracting. You know what distracts me? Is when I'm going 60 miles an hour, minding my own business on the right lane. I've got somebody tailgating me from the back. I've got somebody on the middle lane flying, and there's some crazy person on the emergency lane going right by me, giving me a look, and flipping me the bird.
I wish on the North Shore you could drive on the emergency lane. See, I like that about the South Shore. You could always drive on the emergency lane.
And everybody with the
you
finger.
You get through the traffic quicker.
No, I know, and it's with the finger. That's the other, like I'm going too slow at 60 miles an hour. You want to know what's distracting to me? That's what's distracting to me. Now, I'll tell you the one thing he'll never do, because then he'll have a real revolt on his hands. If they ban flipping the bird. Oh, if they said, no, you can't flip somebody the middle finger. You do that, that's going to be $100 ticket or a fine or whatever. Then the whole did there be a revolution? They'd overthrow him from power.
You know how much money the state would make?
If they did that, that would solve.
Hilarious.
Listen, their
That'll
coffers would be overflowing with money.
That would pay for all of their raises.
Everything. Oh, they could give themselves another raise, and then another raise, and then another raise. I mean, so I'm just saying, like, I'm being honest with you. Like, oh, Jeff, it's the cell phones, it's the texting, it's this, it's that. No, it's the drivers. Rich in Brighton. Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, how you doing, Jeff? Love your show.
Thank you, Rich.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good comments. For me, half of it is a safety issue. I believe you should be able to talk on your phone, but hands-free. I'm a biker. I ride my bike a lot, and I see people texting, and it's almost hit me numerous times. Because if your hands aren't free to grab the wheel, and in case of an accident, whether you're the cause of it or you're trying to avoid one, that split second could be the difference. And it absolutely... like I said, part of it is a safety issue, but the other part is a money grab, like you mentioned. And, the insurance companies are salivating because it'll be a moving violation that they can collect on for another 5 years after you get the violation. And you mentioned, the money grab, about the immigrants. Well, why don't they start investing in teaching these young immigrants not to have babies if they can't afford them? Thank you.
Thank you for that call, Rich. Look, I got to say this, though. I don't want to pile on the bikers as well. Look, I love the bikers. I love you guys. But that's another thing, even in this state. The way the bikers ride their motorcycles. Zipping, middle lane, right lane, left lane, in between. Like the middle lane, the left lane. So there's two cars. They go right up the middle. Like on the line. Right up that middle. There they are. They're flying, whizzing, in and out.
Jeff, I think he meant a bicycle. Like he's a biker, like a bicycle, not like a motorcycle.
Oh, he meant like a bicycle, like on the bike path.
I mean, yeah, I think so.
Oh, I thought like he rides a bike as in a motorbike.
No.
Well, no, if he rides a bicycle, I would say, look, I'm sorry, Rich, but, get a car like the rest of us. I mean, I stopped riding my bike when I was, 16. I mean, recreationally, I'll take the kids for a spin. But in terms of I don't going to school or whatever. No, I stopped when I was 16. I don't do any serious transportation on a bike. I'm a car guy. 617.
But you are right about the motorcycles.
They're crazy.
Some. Some are.
Yeah, I mean, not all. I mean, obviously.
Mostly the street bikes.
The what?
The street bikes.
I would say all. I've seen all kinds of bikes. It's just I don't know what it. I'll tell you. I know what it is. There is so much traffic and congestion that when there isn't traffic and congestion, people feel they have to make up for lost time. So they go nuts on the road. They're like, ooh, there's no traffic. And like, if they don't hit 100 miles an hour, they're not happy.
That is true. But I have a question, though, Jeff.
Yes.
I can't find my way out of a paper bag when it has to do with driving, Jeff, so I'm always using my GPS, okay?
Yeah, me too, by the way.
What does this mean for... I always use my GPS, like on my phone,
on your cell
phone.
Oh, you're in trouble, my friend.
So what am I going to do now?
You got to get a car.
You got to get like one of those TomToms and just like, the regular GPSs?
Yes, and install it on your car or get a car that has built-in GPS technology.
Oh, my car doesn't have that.
No, that's what I mean. So maybe you have to exchange cars, Brittany.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just saying, so that's what they're going to force us to do, so you don't keep getting tickets all the time, because Charlie Faker needs to, put some more money in his pocket and in government coffers, because the state is spending way too much and they need more money. It's about the money. Russ in Boston, go ahead, Russ.
Jeff, I want to make 2 points. First of all, this is going to increase the problem of driving while being black. There's no question about it. The second thing is, right now, with the existing laws called impeded operation, a police officer can issue you a ticket at any time if he feels you're doing something that's distracting your driving. The next thing is that your phone records can be subpoenaed, and if you get into an accident, and God forbid you kill somebody, all right, you can rest assured when they subpoena your phone records, you're going to spend some time in prison unless you got a soft judge.
Russ, I know you've been in the military. I know you served in Germany, correct?
I was in Vietnam and Germany. Yes.
Vietnam and in Germany. The Germans are, by reputation, apparently are great drivers. Right? Even though they have the Autobahn, where you can go at huge, high, almost unlimited speeds. Russ, what is it about this place that produces so many reckless, dangerous drivers? My heart level, my blood pressure, every time I go on the road goes up.
Well, first of all, Jeff, to get a driver's license in Germany, the test is tougher, the schooling is tougher, it's longer, okay? And when you are issued that license, you are a good driver, or you're not going to get that license. The other thing is the laws are very strict, and they just do not accept any bad driving. It's unacceptable, and you're going to pay a price for it. And I'll just give you one example, because we're talking now 50 years ago, okay, with me. If you didn't have a reflector in your car, okay, and they found you didn't have a reflector on your car that you could put on the road, you'd be fined for not having a reflector. I mean, they didn't fool around. And it was a wonderful place to drive. And what's interesting about it is that, I owned a car while I was over there, and I, drove all over Europe. I put about 31,000 miles on my car. But the car that I had, I didn't feel comfortable driving more than 85 miles an hour. And when I was out on that Autobahn is when I wish I had one of those cars that I could do 150. It's just what it felt like. And then, of course, you come back to this country, and you got to slow down when you get on our highway.
Although, yes, in this country, but not here, Russ. Not on 93 or 95. Then it's Formula One racing.
Oh, God. Hey, by the way, Jeff,
yes.
You were mentioning Germany. I just love that country. And I'll tell you, the way I used to think, if I couldn't live anywhere else, I would live in Germany. But to see what Angela Merkel has done to Germany, it's disgraceful.
Oh, I know. It breaks your heart. Thank you for that call, Russ. No, look, really, people often ask me in my car, right? I have on the rear view mirror, I have several crosses that I hang. Not one. They go, well, why so many, Jeff? I go, driving on these roads? You need all the help that you can get. I need St. Joseph. I need the Virgin Mary. I need the baby Jesus. I need everybody. Every saint under the sun. All I'm doing when I'm in the car is Hail Mary full of grace. That's all I'm saying. Let me survive. Please, God. I promise I'll be a better person. 617-266-6868. You want a great reality TV show? Forget survival. What is it? Survivor. Forget
Survivor, yeah.
Yeah. Forget Survivor. Do Surviving Boston. That's all you need. One day on the road in Boston. That, my friends, I'm telling you, would be the most popular show in the country. 154 here on the great WRKO. Okay, this is from 781. Really interesting text. Jeff, the motor vehicle citations written by police officers in Massachusetts have plummeted in the last few years. This law won't be enforced because most cops don't want to be accused of quote-unquote racial profiling. So the majority of officers aren't pulling violators over for anything. You know, I hope you're right because, you know, really, I need this like I need a hole in the head. So now Baker, along with the Democrats up on Beacon Hill, are pushing a bill. They're probably going to pass it. They have the votes that would ban handheld cell phone use while driving your car in Massachusetts. A dozen other states have this law, many of them in the New England area. And you're looking at tickets of at least $100 to $150 if you were to be pulled over by a police officer for, you know, talking on the cell phone with it, you know, in your ear or on the speakerphone. They only want you to use hands-free technology, i.e. Bluetooth. Margie in Peabody. Go ahead, Margie.
Hi, Jeff. It's nice talking to you. I talked to the gentleman. But the only thing I have against cell phones is why can't they pull to the side of the road, a parking lot, a gas station, anything, to make their cell phone calls? It's not that vital. You know, do you want to kill somebody or you be killed because you don't want to take 5 minutes to get off the highway? Because they cut out in and out. They're on the phone. And I had a car the other day that was on the inner lane, and he cut in front, but he's looking over his shoulder this way, holding on to the stupid phone to get out, and there's more accidents. Get off the road. If you want to talk to your girlfriend, you want to talk to your mother, you want to talk to the hospital, pull off the road. And I had a picture given to me years ago. It says, please, I can only do 12 things at once. Well, it's coming to the point now, if you're driving a car and texting and on the cell phones or whatever you're doing, now they have TVs. I mean, you are not concentrating on driving, Jeff. And to save lives, just have them pull off the road. I told my daughter, she's on the phone and she's going 65 miles an hour. I said, please, pull off the side of the road to talk to whoever you're talking to. It might take a couple of minutes or 5 minutes out of your time to do this, but you're saving lives.
Margie, thank you very much for that call. I appreciate it. Look, to me, Margie, I think this is the issue. In theory, believe it or not, I agree with you. In theory, look, really, in an ideal world, Jeff Kuhner, would I not love to just sit in my car, you know, with my two little munchkins in the back seat, and I'm just driving? And I'm not calling anybody, I'm not phoning anybody, I'm not texting anybody, I'm just focusing 1,000% on the road and trying to actually even enjoy the drive, if possible. The reality is, especially here in the Northeast, there's too much pressure on our time. The most valuable commodity is time. And that's the one thing people don't have. And to me, the stresses and pressures of life, how hard you have to work, both family members have to work, the kids, get them to school, get them back from school, driving them around now for activities. When I look at my day, I can't breathe. I mean, Brittany will testify to this. I'm either show prepping or she's show prepping. We're rushing into work. We're doing work. Then we're doing stuff after work. Too much pressure and not enough time. And if you've noticed, especially Boston, look, on the one hand, there's an economic boom. City is booming. Companies are coming in, jobs are coming in, but we're being packed like sardines. And they're just building more high rises and packing people in. There's too many people. And so I think everybody is just feeling so much pressure that they feel like, look, if I'm going to be on the road for 3-4 hours a day, I got to be on the phone. Exhibit A, the Kuhner Man. Okay, coming up next, Charlie Baker pulls the trigger. He signs bilingual education. It is now the law in Massachusetts. What will be the impact? That story, your calls next.
The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 93.7 WEEI HD2 Lawrence, Boston. It's 2 o'clock.